we live in a dimension with energetic predictive patterns. And when our soul chooses to incarnate in this life based on the birth time and day that we were born, more so the day and not the time, but based on when we choose to incarnate, that can lay out the entire predictive pattern of what we're going to experience in this lifetime.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Freedom Seeker Show. I'm your host, Yvonne Winkler, and I'm the CEO of Lotus Consulting, an organization on a mission to support women well-being. And I do that through empowerment, through harmony and collaboration. And as you know, the Freedom Seeker Show is all about having conversations that matter to women. My guest today is Anne-Marie McKenzie, who is a friend of mine. We go a little while back. I don't even know how many years now, but I love our journey together. We have grown our friendship quite considerably over the last few years. And what brought us together is just our deep connection on a soul level of wanting to impact the world on a deeper level with more divinity, I guess, and not none of the superficial stuff. And today, Anne-Marie is going to talk to us about numerology and how that can align our life on purpose. Anne-Marie is a soulful business strategist who empowers entrepreneurs to align with their purpose and amplify their power and activate their prosperity. I was going to say potency, that too. Certified advanced numerologist, queen, speaker, spiritual teacher, and heart-centered coach. She weaves the magical into the practical to elevate consciousness, and that is so true. Anne-Marie is on a mission to support psychic, sensitive, creative, and intuitive leaders to integrate the intelligence of their hearts, reclaim their energetic sovereignty, and become the inner authority of a handcrafted, I'm making up words today.
And they work.
Life and business they love. They do work, didn't they?
Yeah.
Welcome, Anne-Marie. I'm so excited to have you back onto the Freedom Seeker Show today. This isn't your first time here, and last time we talked about heart-centered business, and today we're going to bring numerology into the conversation, which I believe at the time when you were on the show, you were just getting started with numerology. So what led you onto this journey?
By accident, 100%. It was one of those follow the divine breadcrumbs, and I did, and it just led to even more magic in my life and business. I had conversations with other coaches about my abundance and sustainability in business. I, like myself, in 2020 had to make some major changes in my business. I was connecting with people personally, hosting workshops in person, retreats, speaking on stages, and all of that changed. And the sustainability tanked. It just was like non-existent. And I, like many others, had to figure it out online. And this led to these conversations about abundance and wealth and money specifically. And I wanted to get really clear on my numbers. I approached it, ironically, very masculine. And I was like, I'm going to hire a bookkeeper and I'm going to get a new accountant. And it was the exact opposite of what I do was my approach, and the exact opposite of what I would soulfully strategize with my client. And a friend said, I would love for you to meet this woman, Megan Alton. She's having a 5 free-day mini series, and, just get to know her and get to know what she's all about. And she was a numerology queen as well. And so on this journey to getting clear on my abundance, numerology showed up, and I did that's not what I was thinking. or like the plan at all that I had. But everything that she said just completely spoke to me. And within this 5-day container, I was able to unpack this self-limiting belief that I'm not good with numbers.
Mhm.
And it couldn't be farther from the truth. I went to enrichment for math as a child from the time I was 5 until about grade 9. And it wasn't until grade 11 when science was introduced into math. That's when I kind of went sideways because I'm very much well, why do I need to know this? Like, how am I actually going to use it? I couldn't see the practical side of it. And so I couldn't embody that. And I literally told myself from that time on that I wasn't good with numbers, and it's completely untrue. I'm a
Mhm.
sorceress with numbers. I see numbers and patterns all the time. And abundance is in my energetic code. It's my birthright. And so it helped me shift my perspective on myself, on my money, on my numbers, on sustainability, on all of it. And I just went all in and decided to become an advanced certified numerologist and build a community and start weaving this into my own personal life and my own business. And when I saw how that had a major impact, I knew that I had to integrate it into everything that I do with all of my clients. And it fits really well with the heart intelligence piece because, Yvonne, as you know, we guide people to understand how it is that they want to feel. And that's for people who've never been asked that before, or who did not live or get raised in an environment with a high level of emotional intelligence as adults. There's major blocks. And when we look at our energetic code through numerology, we can get access to the heart intelligence a lot faster
Mhm.
because our energetic code shows us this is what we chose to be in this lifetime. This is our purpose, and this is how we want to feel. And these are the values that we want to embody. And so it kind of helps people, not kind of, it does, it supports them in collapsing time in a way because we get to the nitty gritty details of this is who you are and your purpose and your gifts, and this is what you're here to share. And yes, this is your challenge, and these are your obstacles, and if you have overcome them, this gets part of your gifts and your medicine to other people as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's been a lot of fun.
And I can attest to watching you transform. Once you had this piece, it changed. There seemed to be a flow for you, and it just opened up this whole new world of possibility, and you embrace that. And that's what I've been witnessing over the last few years of you doing this. So can you tell us, what is numerology, and how can it, tell you all of these things about yourself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What I love about it is that it's a modality that's thousands and thousands of years old. It's ancient, it's rooted in science and math.
Mhm.
Literally, we live in a dimension with energetic predictive patterns. And when our soul chooses to incarnate in this life, based on the birth time and day that we were born, more so the day and not the time, but based on when we choose to incarnate, that can lay out the entire predictive pattern of what we're going to experience in this lifetime. It's not a crystal ball per se, where it speaks to us in absolutes, but it speaks to us in generalities. So there are many layers. There's our personal layers, like our ruling number, our personal day number. In other numerology modalities, like you might be familiar with life path number or soul path number, we're speaking the same. It's different words for the same stuff.
Mhm.
But it's like intrinsically, this is who I am, and this is who I chose to be, and this is how I choose to show up in the world. And these are the different seasons I'm going to go through and the different purposes that I have chosen to have in this lifetime. Even that was a relief because I realized, oh, we don't have just one purpose, we have multiple purposes. It was like, that permission granted to like change and grow and evolve. There's also a lot of different layers in terms of we have a sun card and a moon card. numerology was hidden in a deck of cards.
Hmm.
So when Pythagoras and his school, which he allowed women in, and back then in Egypt, that was a huge no no. He was one of the first. So I think that's why I love it as well. And I know that Pythagoras's girlfriend was instrumental in developing all of this as well. So I feel that's why it resonates with me too. It's a perfect blend of the masculine and feminine.
Hmm.
When they realize the power of this information and being able to predict these patterns, they also fully understood that if this was in the wrong hands, that it can be used to manipulate. Uh, and
Hmm.
so they hid the information in a deck of cards. So for anybody who's listening, and if you were like me and you were obsessed with cards growing up, Go Fish, Crazy Eights, War, Snap, like whatever, solitaire, chances are that you have an affinity for numerology as well, and it would be probably very easy for you to pick up. So our sun card, for example, would be related to like a card in the deck. So I'm a seven of clubs, Yvonne is a queen of hearts. So there's layers upon layers upon layers that can support us again in understanding who we are, our purpose, the gifts that we have, what we're here to do, and how we can access our divine prosperity. So we're all here and wired for abundance. We're all here to generate higher levels of prosperity because the more we have, the more we can give. And especially as we've shifted into this age of Aquarius, this time where unity is the way forward, community is where it's at, that the more we have, the more we can give.
Hmm. Hmm. There is so much relief for me just when I did my numerology reading with you, just hearing back that some of the things that I knew very deep inside of me that to be true, that they were affirmed by when you did the readings for me, and also some of the questions, like even just going back to the purpose. How many of us have spent a long time trying to find that one thing that we're here meant to be doing on this earth, and what a relief it was to find out, oh, there's more than one.
Yeah.
We're here to grow, we're here to learn, and our soul is here to fulfill that mission. And
Mhm.
it may not always be crystal clear, but the numerology piece was really helpful for me, and it still is. I follow you, and I encourage anyone listening right now. Anne Marie does monthly forecasts on her social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram, and those are so helpful for setting up my month. Just knowing, oh, what's ahead. Like this month, for example, is all about. Um, it's number 4 this month, right? And it's all about finding stability and foundations, right? And whoa, has that been true for me this month? Like,
Mhm.
so I can just approach my day differently because I'm not so blindsided by
Mhm.
some of the obstacles that might come my way, or some of the shifts. So I really appreciated um, the knowledge of numerology that
Mhm.
you brought into my life.
Good.
So what would you like to share with us today, and how can we use numerology to align with our
Mm.
life?
Oh, well, I love that you said how it's validating and it provides you with a confirmation of, yes, this is who I am and this is what I am meant to be doing in this lifetime. I
Mhm.
always recommend that as the first step is understanding our blueprint and our own personal energetic code, because it supports us to just be who we're meant to be and stop wasting our time and energy on things that are meant for other people, that we're meant to hire or delegate or create a partnership or a collaboration with.
Do you have an example of that?
Yeah, I am. Well, let's look at yours, for example. So Yvonne is a ruling number 4. Surprise, surprise. She's a
This
conscious
month is
leader.
kicking the shit out of me.
Yeah. And that's why this month's kicking the shit out of her. Yeah. Um, and I'll talk about that in a second. So Yvonne is naturally a conscious leader. She chose to show up in this lifetime as a leader. And she is somebody who she sees opportunities where other people sees challenges. She comes into a situation and she has that high level vision and can map out everything that it's going to take in order to get shit done. And then when she's operating on the high vibration of her code, she knows how to call in all the resources in order to make it happen. She's very systematic, extremely organized. When I spend time with her, I always immediately feel safe and secure. She can be very practical. So when my head's up in the clouds and we're ideating about something, she brings me down to earth and is like, okay, what does this look like if we were to implement it? On the low side of the four, she knows that when she feels like the weight of the world is on her shoulders, it's because she doesn't have the resources to get the things done that she wants to get done. Mm-hmm. Right. So, as a friend, whenever we chat, and if I see Yvonne, not Yvonne, and I say, what's the missing piece here? What's the resource? What is it that you're not delegating? What is it that you need? How can you ask for help? And then I just see her do the, because she knows that she needs help with something, but she's not asking for it. She's trying to operate in a silo and do it all on her own instead of rallying the team that she naturally has as a conscious leader. Mm-hmm. That's so you. And then her personal day number is a 7. So then, like, the action and the momentum that happens, like with the mashup, it's like she's a rocket ship, like, all the time. And that 7 energy as well is what drives her towards freedom. The 7 is a seeker of freedom, and freedom in the sense of, yes, it's 7's very masculine, and so is the 4 too. But it's about like being a teacher, like you, and I think your community, I know your community will agree. It's that, by doing these things, by stepping up as a leader and showing up and sharing the wisdom that then that's where you access greater levels of freedom in your life. Mm-hmm. 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 So it was amazing for me to know Yvonne. I think we met in 2015. When I think about it, it was 2015 or 2016. So quite some time we've known each other. And so to know somebody for so long and then to access her energetic code, and like, we're laughing the whole time because we're like, this is you, this is totally you, and I can see your challenges and your obstacles, and we can see the things that we've unpacked before, and when you've been struggling, how you've been paddling upstream and not accessing the higher vibrations of our code. Yeah. Is that
Would you mind
helpful?
sharing a little bit more? Yes, completely. And I hope it is for anyone watching as well. Can you share a little bit more about the high vibration and the low vibration? So each number has a high and a low vibration, and that's the yin and the yang, right? Like the dark and the light. It's my interpretation of it, but I would love to hear yours and how does that show up?
Mm. Everything is energy. Absolutely everything is energy. And the vibrations and the frequencies that each number carries is a scale. And when I talk about low and high, it's not one is bad and one is good. It's just it's the level of the scale. And the low vibrations are there to, just like we talk about when we discuss like heart intelligence, it's there to show us that we're either in alignment or out of alignment with our code. And so when we are not feeling like our best self, when we feel like we are in struggle, when we feel like we're paddling upstream, it's normally because we're operating on the low vibration of our own personal code, or the energy of the day or the month or the year. Again, there's so many layers. And so the amazing thing that happens when we know this information is that awareness brings us into acceptance.
Yeah.
And the acceptance moves us into taking responsibility, which supports us in changing that. And I don't mean to discourage people from hanging out in the low vibrations. In fact, I encourage it
Mm-hmm.
because there's lessons in there, there's
Yeah.
healing to be done. So spending time in that space, but not staying in that space.
I think this is such an important point, Anne Marie, because uh, oftentimes, especially in our work, uh, I've I've witnessed and I've done it. I'm so quick to move into, okay, now that I'm aware of it, I need to change it or I need to do something about it. But
Mm-hmm.
spiritual bypassing, you just wrote a whole thing on that this
Mm-hmm.
week. Um, you know, it's so important that we do acknowledge what the low vibration is all about and see what the lesson in that is, and why it's showing up right now. What's that about? And then move forward, and not having needing to dwell in it, but
Mm-hmm.
sitting in it for a little bit and just really embracing it. Because if we don't, guess what's going to happen? It's just going to keep showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
And there's so much power in it too, in terms of, okay, we're not our best self. We recognize we're in our lower vibration, but our code also shows us what to do. So
Mm,
there's no, there's, it's quite simple. So when I'm working with my clients and we're developing soulful strategies, Yvonne, for example, when she comes to me as a friend and says like, I'm not great. When's the last time you've been outside? When's the last time that you've moved your body? When's the last time you've connected with Mother Earth? Right.
mm-hmm,
She knows that's her antidote every single time. Right. For myself, I'm a ruling number 3. Whenever there was a 3 energy day, I'm like, it's my time to shine. I'm like, I'm going to be so creative today. I'm going to call in lots of abundance. And the day would show up and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't even want to get out of bed. Like there was, there was no motivation. And then I stepped into criticism and judgment towards myself, which is a low vibration of the 3. And then I realized that the 3 energy was gifting me exactly what I needed to be able to tap into my activation energy and to get creative and to call in abundance. I needed rest. I was moving towards burning out again.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
once I accepted that, then I mapped out my months and I would circle the 3 energy days and I would block it off and not allow clients that day. No alarm clock. I wake up whenever I want and I allow the day to be what it needs to be. It is not a day that I would plan something.
mm-hmm.
And because I did that, then all of a sudden I was able to step into creativity.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of months and I didn't judge it. I just allowed it to be what it was. And then I watched that shift within myself and I watched the abundance come my way because I listened to what the 3 energy was asking me to do.
That makes so much sense, even from everything I'm working in the realm of, which is the seasons, right? Like when we
Mm,
are working with the seasons and with the numerology, with all of these different insights that we can gain about ourselves, um, it's so much easier because now we're not rowing against the stream. We're
yeah.
actually flowing with what needs to be and what is, and instead of trying to control something that
Mm-hmm.
isn't in our control. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. So, what, how else can numerology, like, how would that look like for someone on a day to day basis? So, they would come to you and get a numerology reading, a blueprint, as you called it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, how do they incorporate that on a daily basis?
There's several different ways that I encourage my clients to keep this front and center and top of mind, and using a soulful planner. And I know that you incorporated that into your harmony planner as well. Like just
Mm-hmm.
understanding this is my energetic code, and this is the day energy, and this is the month energy, and this is the year energy. So not only are we working with our own personal energetic code, but we're working with that of the collective consciousness as well. And so there are times where, like, whoa, I know many people in my community were talking about how we've been knackered for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And that's not us, that's the collective. There is a lot coming up and coming through for all of us in the collective. And we're working together, whether we know it or not, consciously or subconsciously, excuse me, to raise the vibration.
Yeah.
Uh, so something as simple as knowing that this is a 9 energy day and it's the end of a manifestation cycle. Today is a time for reflection. Today is a time to pause and to respect all the work that we have done. And it's a time to celebrate. And it's a time to step into service of humanity in a deeper way. And it doesn't mean go out there and do more today. It's about considering, how can I be a beacon of light moving forward? What's my vision for moving forward? What is it that I'm calling in? And how can I do it in a way that does have an impact on other people as well? So, right after this call, for example, I'm meeting a friend and we're going to the beach and we're going to pull some oracle cards and we're going to talk about what's happening in our world. And we're going to talk about a retreat that I have coming up. And she's going to show up as the medium. She's a medium and support people to figure out who's on their spiritual support team. How cool is that?
So cool. Yeah. So cool.
Um, that's one of the ways. Another way is, I love how I can look at somebody's energetic code and I can also understand their intuitive and psychic gifts as well. So this is what numerology did for me. I've always been a psychic. I've always been intuitive. I wasn't always willing to admit that or talk about that as one of my gifts. And this supports myself and my clients to anchor into that. I'm a channel, 100%. I'm a channel. I have a massive spiritual support team. They are very strong. Anybody who's done Reiki on me is like, you've got like these bouncers that are like, what's your business here? Like, what is it that you want? And they're like, well, what, like, I'm just here to bring some love and light and some healing. And they're like, okay, I guess you can come
Okay.
in. Yeah. And so just understanding, again, somebody's energetic code, I know how they can access their own intuitive gifts and their own psychic abilities as well. Um, I integrate this into everything. So I talked about the Soulful Planner. I still do one-off readings. That's going to be shifting in the future. I integrate this into attracting soulmate clients. So I have masterclasses and workshops on that, because understanding your energetic code will support you to understand your soulmate client code. And it is so magical to know, without going through the bullshit of what's your ideal customer avatar, like what kind of fucking car do they drive, and like, I'm just so tired of the old pragmatic masculine ways of approaching business. This supports us to bring in the feminine energy and balance it out, because we see our code and then intuitively we know who our client is, and not just a client, a soulmate client, like somebody that your soul made a contract with before we even entered in this lifetime to work together. You and I are an example of that. That, yes, our journey began maybe from a business perspective, but we are the best of friends. Like, even when Yvonne and I don't connect for months, we're thinking of each other. And when we think of each other, the other one texts, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "Oh my God, we're just thinking about you. It's been too long," right? To me, that's a
Yeah.
soulmate client. And so it really, again, it supports us in collapsing timelines, because we don't have to struggle to call in who it is that we are meant to serve.
Do you
We
have a
are,
workshop like that coming up, or?
I am about to complete one, and what I've done is created the masterclass and the Attracting Your Soulmate client workshop to be self-study with a combo of working with myself as
Oh, very
well.
cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm moving my business in the direction of not working in July and August because I know that's what I need in my code. And summer school, I think, is where it's at. For myself, I love just being on a beach and listening to a podcast or learning or listening or reading a book. And the work that I do involves such a high level of heart intelligence that if we are too masculine, the embodiment piece is not there.
Yeah.
The integration does not happen. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm going to try this out and I'm going to offer it as summer school. And I'm going to offer this as an opportunity for people to learn about themselves, and but to do so in a way that's more self-paced. And then if they want to take it a step deeper with me and go farther, then there's the conscious business immersion, which is all about creating that conscious plan and developing soulful strategies to actually attract our soulmate clients. And
Mm-hmm.
forecasting is a part of that. Forecasting takes everything to a whole nother level
Mm-hmm.
because we're not guessing. We can, again, look at the energy that is coming through for us, and then we can calibrate with it, which supports us in amplifying that. So, a quick example, my theme for this year is the Two of Clubs. The two is all about connection, partnerships, collaboration, community. And the clubs is all about communication, beliefs, shifting our mindset and our words to match how it is that we feel. And so, from a business perspective, a brilliant soulful strategy would be to get interviewed by other people who have podcasts. That's in alignment with what I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do this year. Like,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen. Um, you're a Queen of Hearts. Anybody who would have Queen of Hearts as a theme, then the number one priority would be to nourish themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of motherly energy. It's like, how can you mother yourself
Mm-hmm.
for the year? Top priority. And some people might say, what does that have to do with business? It has everything to do with business. Everything. If the nourishment piece isn't there, the business isn't going to be sustainable or flow. I'm not saying that you wouldn't be able to have small successes. It's just going to be difficult,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Someone asked how they can find out more about this master class. Do you
I'll
have?
send it to you. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Why don't you put it underneath the this when we post it here in the community? You can put
Absolutely.
it in the comments underneath, and I'll also when it goes onto the Freedom Seeker Show on YouTube, I'll put the links to your to your Instagram as well as your business page that I have here,
That's great.
all
Thanks.
under there too. So anyone who would like to know more about Anne Marie's work and or the master class that is coming up, please check out the links that will be posting below here, and we can absolutely have Anne Marie back and have, talk more about numerology or anything else that you would like Anne Marie to talk about. So let me know. Send me a message, DM me, or put it underneath this video and just say, hey, this is something I would like to know more about, and then we'll Anne Marie will come back and share that. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here, Anne Marie, and sharing that. Someone said sounds very interesting. With this platform, I can't see who is actually posting it.
Oh.
So when I say someone, it's
Well,
literally
thank
just
you, someone. Thank you,
someone.
someone, for being here.
I want to thank you, Anne Marie, for sharing your wisdom with us and all this information about numerology and how it can help us align our life in a more peaceful, heart centered way. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for allowing me to connect with your community. Wishing everybody blessings and momentum and ease. Like,
Mm,
let's just let it be easy. Yeah.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Big love. Thanks.